Right now, search and rescue operations continue now into day 2 in the town of Surfside after that deadly building collapse. Now, FEMA crews are now just arriving and they're set to help search for anyone who might still be alive under that rubble. Now, both Governor Ron DeSantis as well as the White House issuing a state of emergency, different declarations there happening overnight, and that's to help with these rescue efforts.
In a press conference held just minutes ago, we've learned at least 4 people are now dead and 159 are now unaccounted for. That's up from 99. But in some positive news, officials say they've now been able to account for 120 people from that building. And we continued our live team coverage this morning.
So let's start with Josie Carbonari. Josie, you were at that press conference just in the past hour. Give us the headlines.
Well, you know, officials are really trying to be optimistic. We heard from Miami-Dade Mayor, we heard from Miami-Dade Fire Rescue and Police, a bunch of different agencies that are working together to come up with solutions and with these search and recovery efforts, but there was a bit of a somber feeling to all of this. They say, though, that they are working tirelessly and they're working really hard to try to find people underneath the rubble where that area collapsed behind the building. They said they're using special equipment. There's some cameras that they're using to be able to listen to sounds and also try to see what is going on down there, but so far they haven't had any luck at this point finding anybody else besides those 4 people. Now, Miami-Dade Fire Search and Rescue crews say that they did hear sounds from below, but they can't say for sure if it was in fact people down there, but again, they're staying hopeful.
We will continue search and rescue because we still have hope that we will find people alive. That is exactly why we're continuing, and that is why we're using our dogs and our sonar and our cameras, everything possible to seek places where there may still be people.
And officials are still working, as I mentioned before, to identify those 4 bodies found. We'll, of course, have all of the updates both on air and online right here on WPBF. For now, reporting from Surfside, Josie Carbonari, WPBF 25 News.
Josie, thank you. And our Waukesha Bailey continues our team coverage this morning.
So, Waukesha, of course, so many questions right now, trying to figure out how exactly that building collapsed, how something this tragic could have even happened, and now the investigation is already underway.
Yeah, you know, Mark, Gianna, people really want to know how could 50 condos collapse. Now, investigators say that before they can come to any sort of conclusion that they're going to have to look at the history of the building as well as construction reports dating back to 1981. So what we know right now is that Champlain's Towers was built about 40 years ago. It consists of 3 buildings, each with 12 stories. That one that collapsed was the South Condo building with 135 units. Now, video footage showed dozens of condos collapsing Thursday morning, and it's this video that engineers will use to start the investigation. We're told there's no sign of a sinkhole and no signs of gas explosions, but the images do show an apparent failure or absence or any backup structures that are meant to prevent a catastrophe such as this.
Buildings are not designed or engineered or constructed to just collapse unless you intend them to.
Now, prior to the building's collapse, there was construction on the roof, but the city says that's hard to believe that could have been the cause. Now, they will start with testing the ground underneath the tower because sometimes the foundation is affected by the water table. Now, we're told that there could be months of investigation before we have any answers. Waukesha Bailey, WPBF 25 News.
Waukesha, thank you. Now, if you or anyone you know is having trouble getting in contact with family, write this number down on your screen right now. It's 305-614-1819. This is the reunification line that families can call. And if your family member is accounted for, officials, they also want to know that information as well.
Well, we're expecting to hear from Governor Ron DeSantis later on this morning. In fact, he's set to do a news conference out of Pensacola in about an hour, 10 this morning. So once the governor starts talking, we're going to stream that on our Facebook page, on WPBF.com, and on our free mobile app for you as well. And speaking of throughout the day. Anytime there's any sort of update coming from Surfside, we're going to carry it for you live on our WPBF 25 News app. Now you can download that by, if you see this QR code that we have on the screen right now, if you just point your phone at that QR code, it will immediately allow you to download our app.